Alright, so I'm going to do a quick tour of my camper van here. That's right there. Guess I'll start on the outside. It's a monster mash of 1973 and 1976 vans. Parts van is in there, you can see it. Stole a bunch of parts and not through stealing parts from that yet. This summer hopefully we'll finish it up, but it's a Chevrolet G30 1-ton 4-wheel drive Pathfinder conversion van. From all the dates that I have, right out of the factory it was converted to 4-wheel drive by Pathfinder, and it was also converted to the camper RV conversion is dated the same time, so it must have been bought and converted to both the camper and a 4-wheel drive right off the bat. So its whole life it's been what it is now, only I've made it a little better, I think. Start outside. Put a different high top on. If you've seen my previous video that has a history, I took pictures while we did this. High top was from a third van, a totally different van, and put it on this van. The one that was on here was carpeted, and the previous owner that tore everything out, all the camping, it was a shell when I got it, as you see from those pictures. And you could see daylight through the top of that high top because he pulled the carpet, it was glued up there, he pulled it off and took a lot of the fiberglass with it. So first thing I did was get this high top and put it on, and it turned out pretty good. The mirror's there. See the hubs, Pathfinder 4x4 van hubs. I have to get out and lock them. It's a little bit dirty. Had it out last weekend and there was some rain and on some dirty roads, so it's a little dirty, but CB antenna, exhaust for the furnace here. All the windows were put in it by the previous owner. Well, they were mostly put in it. As you can tell from that last video, this one was just in with a couple of screws, and there was a hole here from, they used to have those tall windows when it was a camper van. So we had to get that filled in and the bodywork done on that. It is 10 feet tall, almost exactly. That's a 10-foot door, and I can't drive in it with the roof vent even cracked open, so it barely fits in there. These are the stock bumpers from the parts van in there. The bumpers off this one had to be cut off. We couldn't get it off, and the front one I still have, but they were chrome. I'll probably get some aftermarket bumpers on it eventually. The hitch was on it from the previous owner. I had to wire up the trailer lights and brakes and all that stuff. This is the third sliding door. I really hate the sliding door. That's the weak point of this whole thing, but it's what it's always had. This is the third one. The stock one was falling off when I got it. Got another one off of the parts van for the high top, put it on, but the body lines didn't match. And you can also tell from my earlier video that this door was yellow, the other one was blue and white, and they were off like a late 80s, early 90s Chevy van. The body lines didn't match on those either, so I took all those from the parts van in there, and it's better, but I still wish I had the double side doors, but this is what we have for now. It has a 6-inch lift on it. The previous owner had this part of it done, the leaf springs. He didn't get to the back, so I had to level it out, and then I put Bilstein shocks all 4 corners. It rides like a 1-ton van. With most of the weight in it now, it's better than it was when I got it, but it still bounces around quite a bit. Take you inside. some lights on because I know. Let me start at the back. So the reason I started this project was I was tired of sleeping in tents. Loud, cold, not the cold so much, but not comfortable and loud, the wind flapping everything. So the first thing I needed was a good bed. This is a it's a queen size RV bed back here, permanently there. And I didn't want, like other vans, to have a convertible bed. Those aren't comfortable, and there's two things you use in a camper every day, and that's your bed and your eating area. And you don't want to have to make a bed, unmake a bed every time you want to use it. So started with a permanent bed, and it's so comfortable. The Moab trip, I was in heaven sleeping in this. So much better than anything I've done tent wise, even with cots and matching. It just didn't compare. Above the rear back, it's just one giant storage space. I need to do some things on my list, or to get this storage organized a little better, so that it can be a little more organized, not bang around so much. But right now I just have my riding gear and an electric heater there, some cords, manuals. But it's just one big space. You could, if I left it one big space, you could have a toddler sleep up here if you left the doors open, I suppose. It's big enough. It goes back about 3 feet, and it's the whole width of the van. That speakers have a 6-speaker and sub stereo in here. Those are the rears. I should mention this is only about halfway done as we sit now, but it's usable finally. As you see, this side I've started the paneling, and I made these panels myself to trim it out, so I'll have to continue that around. These are all LED lights in here, and it has a solar system. I'll show you that here in just a bit. This, I didn't know what I was going to do. I wanted to start with flat surfaces on both the front and rear to make it easier to panel the walls. So I built this thinking, well, it'd be a bookshelf or knickknacks, and I was going to put a cabinet door on here. Now I'm thinking, if you've seen Just Incredible on YouTube, his Explorer van, he's got the fireplace heater, and I'm thinking I'm going to put that right here and leave a book and DVD shelf below it, and then instead of just having the chimney up like he has, I'll actually enclose it in with wood and everything, and then move this light to a side and maybe put one on the other side also. So that's one of the projects coming up. I'm definitely interested in that. I have the furnace here. That would be way more efficient, plus you get the window to see the lights like a little fireplace, and that'd be kind of neat. So that's on the list. You can see this side isn't done yet. I saved this side for last and left this open as well, so any of these additions I make, I'll be able to get wires and stuff to it. But I did Dynamat the entire van, all the walls. Underneath the floors there was already insulated and plywood on that when I bought it, so was already done. But all the walls are done. You can see up here the whole cab floor is done. The doghouse is all done. So it really helped quiet things down in here. And so that was worth the effort. The other things up here, these are all LED lights also, and you can use half or both. This vent is going to be replaced. I have a fantastic fan in the shop there. When I originally got this high top, it didn't have anything here. It was just open, and we used that, put a board across here to lift it with tractors to set it on top and take it off the other van. So I just put something in there real quick that was cheap, but yeah, this fan is not very good, and the screen hits it half the time, and it's just it was just 30 bucks. It was cheap. So that will be replaced with a fantastic vent fan here shortly. Let's see. So going in the kitchen area, I got a sink here, and got running water. Furnace right below it, and this looks like a drawer, but it's just a access panel to get to all the electronics in here, the drain for the sink, the gas line for the furnace, and all those kinds of things. So that's all that is. Furnace below it. This was out of the parts van in there. It's a 70s, so it has a pilot light and everything. No electronic ignition. I kind of prefer it that way. And even though it was in the low 20s, mid to low 20s every night, most every night in Moab, that was first week of March, and had the thermostat. Thermostat's right back here, so you can reach it from bed. Had that set at 65, and it ran on and off almost all night. Not very loud, no problem sleeping with it. Nice and warm, and my battery never got below 12.5 volts at any point. So that's using the water pump, the furnace, keeping my iPod phones all charged, running the stereo sometimes. So that was no trouble. So that was good. Very pleased with the solar system. Come around the side of the sink, I've got I guess most of the brains. Here's the readout for the solar system. Tells you what your battery charge is and what your usage is and everything. Next to that, I've got a switch system. It's a marine, made for boats. It has a switch for the water pump, switch for the refrigerator, and a switch for the heater, the furnace blower, right there. And a car adapter outlet here that I used to charge phones and iPods and stuff like that. I also have a 110 system in the van right now. You can use plug to shore power, or a little Honda generator can sit up front. And this is all run off of that. The only other things run off of that are my battery charger and the TV DVD player. Although I may switch this out to a 12-volt version to avoid having to even use that. Let's see, coming around, something stuck in there. Drawer for storage. The only cooking I have right now are my Jetboil stove, and I really like on my backpack for a long time, and got used to packing pretty light, but I can see where I'm going to want to add a cooktop over here at some point, and that's going to go in at some point. I'll do that, but for now the Jetboil does pretty well. Keep most of my utensils and odds and ends things in here. Below that is the electrical brains of the unit. There's my solar charger on the right. Just having a Deep Cycle RV battery here. I have a, if you can see it, a Noco Genius charger there that plugs into shore power to charge the battery or what have you. Just a brick here. The fridge is AC/DC, so it's plugged in there. That box there is my fuse box that I think there's a more detailed picture of it in my making of the van video I put out last. It's screwed shut right now, so I can't get in there, but that's where every circuit in here is fused in there and direct wired here. So I have the secondary battery here. There's a divider switch on the ignition in the engine compartment, so it can charge solar off the engine running or off the AC charger there. So I can charge it any of 3 different ways. Over here is another storage drawer, which I mostly keep tools in. There's a medical kit here too. Inverter that I've never used, but I have it just in case. This bigger drawer is a deep drawer. Goes under the bed. I was originally going to put a drawer type fridge there, but decided it was too small and changed my mind. So this is mostly my pantry, I have some construction items in here now, but keep a lot of stuff that doesn't spoil for camping and snacks and stuff like that. This whole box is just spare parts, fire extinguisher. The spare parts and the electrical stuff will go once it's finally finished, if that ever happens. This heat grate here just covers the subwoofer, is right behind here. So that just covered that up and looked like most of the other stuff in here. So there's the amplifier for the sub. Recycled this out of an old hot rod project that I had, so I put it in here. This fridge is a Norcold 1970s vintage out of the parts van in there. The AC part works great. The DC not so great, so this will be changed out to a more efficient NovaCool, I think, is what I'm going to put in. But the measurements are the exact same. It's designed to replace this. I use it mostly for dry storage right now, but I went ahead and built it because I had to build the kitchen, and I wanted to use those measurements so that I could just direct replace with the new fridge when I got it. So that's the kitchen area. Up front, I got this. It's a 22-inch, maybe it's a 24-inch HD TV and DVD player combo. I only used that one time in Moab when we stayed in a campground middle of the week to get showers and stuff, and it's nice to watch a movie before you went to sleep. Pretty neat. Like I said, I probably will change that to a 12-volt TV just to avoid having to use a generator. If I ever need it, I can just use it off the 12-volt system. They don't use hardly any power anyway, so it's no point to have that, but they were twice as much when I did that, and now they've come way down, so I'll probably be replacing that. The front bulkhead is also all storage right now, just one big storage unit. I don't know if you can see in here. Right now it's all camping gear, stuff I used to use, like tents, sleeping bags, all that kind of stuff. Radio antennas up here. There's some electronics, because being right above the headboard here, there's the radio and all that stuff comes in. Right here is where I can plug in an iPod and just leave it in there to run, to listen to on the radio when I'm parked. I'm going to have to figure out a better way to organize that to get better use out of it, but right now it's serving a purpose. It just keeps everything stored away nice and tight. Have two more speakers, one on each side for the back area here. Temperature monitor, indoor, and then the outdoor remote I have back underneath the bed where the water tank is. It was pretty cold, so I put it back there just so I could keep an eye on how cold the water was getting, and it never got very cold, so it's pretty well insulated. I have a 12-volt outlet here. You plug something in and charge it here. This is a switch for the exterior light out there. I think that covers everything in here. All these windows open, sides. This side window opens, those bottom half of those windows open, so you can get a lot of air moving in here in a hurry if you need to. This chair here turns around, faces in, so you can use that as extra seating. Typical 70s van cab here. It's got a tilt steering wheel, which is kind of nice for getting in and out. Trailer brakes. I've got my iPad mounted there. Eventually I'll wire that into the stereo, but right now it's used mainly for navigation and things like that. Like I said, we got Dynamat on the whole front area here. Really quieted things down, and the doghouse as well. Really quieted things down, so that was a nice addition. Got a compass there, which the parts van had one, so I copied that and put one in here. It's lighted for nighttime use. Not that I rarely not know where I'm going, but up above here we got two more speakers for the driver and passenger seats. An old-time cassette stereo there, and CB mainly used for my buddies and I will leave at different times depending on who's busy and who's not. And so we use that when we get up there to find out where we're camping and find each other. So that comes in handy for that. Up here you've got a rear view camera monitor, so I don't run over anybody when I'm backing up in this big machine. That about covers everything. The only non-LED bulb is right here. This one is. You see how much less bright it is. But I only use that when I'm driving and I need to find something, and that is really bright, so I just left that one. But it may get changed out eventually. I think that covers everything in here. I can show you the storage under the bed next. Eventually I'll put some sidebars on so I can step up and in. Same guy that's going to do the bumpers is going to do those, but right now I use that. In the back here, still got some dirt from Moab. The red dirt is everywhere. On this side I've got a bucket for the drainage, and there's my LP hoses are there. Right now the parts van has the LP system mounted on the back of the doors, and I didn't want to do that, or I'm reluctant to do it. Just want to keep weight off those doors if I can. So for right now I have a system where I always pull my utility trailer. You probably saw it in the last video when I went to Moab with my four-wheeler. So I have a long enough hose there that I put my tanks on that, gas tanks, all those kind of things, and I just run it that way. My electrical cords are there. I have a box of stuff here that's mainly just oil and belts and an emergency road hazard kit and some spare parts and stuff. On this side, some taller items, trash bags, some insulation here. Right behind here is a water tank. It's a 12-gallon water tank. Didn't need much bigger than that, just for washing your hands and face and stuff like that. The water fill is right there. So you just lift this up, and if you take this mattress out, these panels are hinged and they'll fold out of the way for total access if you needed to work on something. Eventually I may put a gray tank here. Right now it has a hose that goes out, and I can use the bucket if I need to, or just let it run on the ground. It's just hand washing, but a lot of times I'll use the bucket, and then we'll use that bucket to put out the fire at the end of the night. So that's back here. Obviously not done yet. That's the back. Now some obvious questions. Number one, there is no shower. It's too small for that. If you've seen some of the other bigger van, the Explorers and things like that, they're about, I think they're 5 feet longer than me. It's right at 16, just a little over 16 feet. So I'm just a regular sized van. And there's no room for a shower. There was no room for a shower. Even if I made a smaller bed, there was just no way to fit it in. So I have an outdoor enclosure I can set up, and I have plans eventually to tap an outdoor hot water heater off the back so that you can take hot showers out there. The other thing, there's no bathroom, and I did that on purpose also. Where we go, I don't intend to live in this van. So many of the other guys that are living in it, they had to do different things. This is mainly, but I go out in it for up to 8-9 days at a time. The Moab trip was 8 days, and other guys in our group have portable toilets or full-size campers and things like that. Almost every campsite we use, no matter how far out, they usually have a vault toilet, or if you absolutely have to. I mean, I've dug a lot of holes, and in the wilderness up in the mountains here in Colorado, if you go out, there's either one there, or if you're in the wilderness, you can dig a hole and bury it, and that's what I do. I'm not too worried about that, but I didn't want it in the van. The smells and the clutter in the room. I just didn't want to do that. So those two things are not in here, and they may have to be addressed at some point if I get older and less able to do those things. But well, I said I'd show you the solar. So this high top had a luggage rack up there, and it's way too tall to be usable for luggage anymore. But there is a 100-watt solar panel up there. It's tilted just enough to, here in Colorado we have the sun to the south of us a lot, unless it's middle of summer. So it's tilted a little bit. If I just park toward the south, it gets a good coverage there. And that's where I put the solar panel. I'll do a whole video on that solar system and just kind of show you what I did at some point. But I think that's about it for this video. Brief overview. If you have any questions, just post them below and I'll try to get back to you. Thank you for watching.